Alright, so not too long ago, Ubi released a statement letting us know that we're getting another update coming to For Honor. And it seems as though they're going to be making changes based off of our feedback that we've been giving them constantly since the update dropped. They haven't revealed the full patch notes yet, but we do know that this update is coming to the game on August 27th, so a little over a week from now. So they gave us 5 bullet points, letting us know what we can expect to be worked on. First up, Warmonger and Nuxia feats. They say that there will be changes to corruption that impact the feats of both heroes. More details will follow in our patch notes closer to the 27th. So it looks like Nuxia's tier 4 somehow got lumped into Warmonger's corruption changes. They say changes, I think they're going to be flat out nerfs, but who knows, maybe they somehow managed to change the way corruption works. Maybe they gave it a smaller effect radius, maybe it won't work on minions, who knows. But whatever it is, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping they don't totally neuter Nuxia's tier 4 though. I thought that Nuxia's tier 4 was fine for the most part. Next thing they're working on is heavy attack damage. They say that this will be further lowered where needed to address the risk-reward balance between light and heavy attacks, as well as time to kill concerns. The new values will be generally closer to those used in the second phase of Testing Grounds. I'm really glad they addressed the second phase of Testing Grounds. If you've been watching or listening to streams or YouTube videos, there's a lot of talk about that second week because that version of Testing Grounds was generally well regarded and things felt good, especially compared to what we're playing now. I'm hoping that they really took a look at each and every value in the game. There really aren't that many attacks in the game, so that when we go through and check things out, we aren't left with any, obvious outliers. They also address time to kill concerns, again something we've all been talking about, as if we're going to have more reliable offense and move towards reads rather than reacting to everything, we need a bit more time to get to know our opponents, and we can't really do that if we're still in critical condition if we make 2 or 3 wrong moves. Next up, zone attack damage. It's a short one, but they say that though the CCU was intended to lower overall damage, it will be raised on several zone attacks that stood out as too low. Not too much to say about this one. Zone attacks don't hit for much right now, so when you're using your zone to try and fend off multiple opponents, you're not doing much damage yourself, while you can still get annihilated pretty quickly if your opponents know what they're doing. This will make some zone option selects better again, so there's that. I'm guessing that attacks like Raider's neutral zone will be bumped up, and without a doubt Conqueror's zone attack, as seeing those 3 damage follow-ups just made no sense. They also mentioned deflect damage, saying that again, lower damage was one of the goals in the CCU, but damage on deflects will be raised a bit overall to make attempting them a more rewarding option. I'm sure that there are a whole lot of people who are genuinely happy about this change. Since the core combat update has gone into effect, I've seen countless comments and whatnot talking about deflect damage and how they feel that going for a deflect in the current version of the game just isn't worth the risk anymore, as you're not doing too much damage, like for example Nuxia's 20 damage blockable deflect. I'm all for upping the damage on deflects as long as it's reasonable. As much as people love deflects, I don't want to see any 40 or 50 damage deflects out there, even if they're more difficult to pull off. Just like with heavy attacks and their damage, I hope that Ubi looked at every single deflect in the game one by one and made a value for each of them, because as we all know, each deflect is not created equally, right? Gladiator's deflect and Orochi's deflects are totally different and lead into different things. As I said in the damage numbers video, I hope that Ubi takes everything into account when adjusting numbers and not just blanket buff or nerf everything. And then finally, stamina changes, specifically on light attacks. So they're dropping the cost of stamina used for light attacks from 12 stamina down to 9 stamina, the middle ground between 6 and 12, and then it'll be 6 damage for combo lights. Again, combo lights are not chain light attacks. They're not like Raider lights or Warlord's light. They're the guaranteed light follow-ups that some attacks have. Think Shinobi's lights, Warden side lights, or Shaolin's side light combo. The statement they left for this was the 12 stamina cost lights have impacted the ability of some heroes to use their offense effectively. This change should help those heroes out while still avoiding situations where players can be over-reliant on lights at some levels of play. I am very happy about this change. I don't know how it's going to feel just yet. We'll know next Thursday, but I know it'll feel a lot better than it does now. This is the only concrete change that we know of right now, as this post just sort of let us know what's going on, but this is a good one. I constantly find myself low on stamina for wanting to be aggressive with these new changes. The initial change was something I glossed over, but it's something you really feel, and it doesn't feel great. I know some people will be unhappy with this, as currently the high stamina cost can make people back off and give you a break and let you get your offense in, but I do think that this change will make the game feel better. They end things off by saying, "We appreciate all the thoughtful responses we've gotten in our CCU feedback thread and across the whole community. We'll continue to pay close attention as we head towards these improvements going live on August 27th. I know for a fact that all the responses have not been thoughtful, but I am glad that they were looking at some of the genuinely good feedback and criticisms, and I'm really hoping that this update really has a lot of good in it. I honestly didn't expect another update so soon. I thought we'd be waiting for a bit, as Ubi has generally been pretty slow when it comes to dropping patches and whatnot. On the 13th, we got a patch, and while it wasn't major and didn't really hit everything, it did address a few issues, and they did so quickly, which I appreciated. This one coming 2 weeks after that and including things that we've really been hounding on is good, at least on paper while reading this. There's still plenty that we just have to wait for. The patch notes will fill us in on things I really want to know, like specific damage numbers and whatnot, and of course Warmonger's feats, which have alone made playing Dominion so much less enjoyable. I know there are people that like Warmonger feats and think that they're a good addition to the game and aren't as bad as people have been saying or making them out to be, but I can't really get behind that. I'm hoping that the changes they make to corruption make it so that they don't command fights and make playing the minion lane an absolute slog, so that you just don't have to run away from the minion lane when you see a Warmonger pop their tier 1 feat that they get every minute. I want the changes to the feats to be pretty substantial changes, not just something like a damage nerf or a cooldown increase. And since Nuxia's tier 4 has just been thrown in there, I think it'll be something more than that, or maybe it's just that Nuxia and Warmonger's feats work in such a way that they're tied together, if that makes any sense. I don't know how they put things together, but maybe they just can't make a large change to corruption without affecting infection in some way. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but overall, I'm hopeful for what's to come. It doesn't address everything, but it does address a lot, and if we're lucky, maybe we can continue to see this sort of speed when it comes to updates. It's unlikely, but a man can dream. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. Again, nice changes on paper. This update, if all goes well, will satisfy a fair bit of people, and they're doing so within 3 weeks of the patch going live, so that's all we can really ask for. As always, I do want to know what you guys think, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as always, if you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.